Despite the rave reviews from trusted sources and friends alike, I never had any desire to play the original Legend of Grimrock. The reason was its genre. Legend of Grimrock is a throwback to the first-person dungeon crawlers of the early 90s. It was a genre that I never got into, and this is a curious point because I played everything I could get my hands on back then. So why not this? To be honest, it intimidated me. Mapping out pathways, avoiding traps, gathering equipment, and creating a party that can survive encounters with devilish creatures, it was overwhelming, and I did not feel up to the challenge then or now. So why play Legend of Grimrock 2? Well, I subscribed to Humble Monthly, and since the game was a gift for early adopters, I thought I should give it a try and see what happens. At the very least, I can make a video out of it. One of the first things I took notice of after 10 or 20 minutes was how the game reminded me of my early college days playing Dungeons & Dragons. The party of people with various skills, the dangerous land to explore, dice rolls and fights, and the clever little puzzles to reach treasure. Legend of Grimrock 2 embraces its D&D influence and does a very admirable job of it. Of course, this is a game released in 2014, so I assume the ease with which I picked up and started playing Legend of Grimrock 2 would not be replicated if I were to go back and play one of the classics of the genre. The controls are simplistic, and the whole tutorial section of the island, I'd say up until the first boss, really tells you everything you need to know to survive and make progress. Not to say it's apparent to all players. There were a couple head-scratchers, especially when it came to switch puzzles, but discovering what you were capable of in the game world resulted in joy when the obstacles were eventually overcome. Some elements I fared better with than others. Hours into the game and I was still screwing up the movement controls. I was turning when I wanted to walk and strafing when I wanted to turn. While I got used to it, even at the end of my play session, my desired movement and my keyboard inputs were not always one and the same. I do recall other games of this type having movement and turning arrows on the user interface. I think mapping it to WSAD with Q and E is a great idea, as it clears up screen space and most players are familiar with this configuration. It just seems a higher learning curve than the game itself. The menu before starting to play has a bunch of options to make the game more difficult, or rather to make it more authentic. You can turn auto mapping off, or you can turn off the map altogether if you desire to draw one manually with pencils and graph paper. You can create your own party, or use the default party, which is an interesting mix of races and classes. On the playthrough I've recorded this footage for, I decided to consult a party creation walkthrough. This is so I would have the ideal party setup and my decisions while leveling would not encumber me as I explored the island, as exploration is what I found most pleasurable about the game. The funny thing is this setup is not too far removed from the default, giving you access to both a magic user and an alchemist. Finally, let's discuss the combat. Combat has sort of a throw everything at the wall and see what sticks feel to it. As your forward party members are represented by your one first-person viewpoint, positioning is only a concern when you have an enemy behind or to the side of you, which can attack that exposed flank. All attacks take time to recharge, so it feels like a first-person ATB system where you're clicking on a weapon each time it comes up, only moving if you need to maneuver around multiple foes to get to a safer location to continue the click assault. The whole game has kind of a Dark Souls vibe, in the sense that if you die, you reflect on why that is, and you adequately prepare for that encounter or situation so it doesn't happen again. I know this concept isn't unique to Dark Souls, but that game has been on my mind lately, and most will know what I'm talking about. I quite enjoyed my time with Legend of Grimrock 2. Its streamlined controls and systems allowed me to appreciate what the genre can offer. I was able to ease myself into its world and rose to many of its challenges, but in the end I felt the same way as I did before even playing the game, intimidated and overwhelmed. I may have come full circle, but I do feel a lot better for filling a gap in my gaming knowledge.